Do room treatments help stereo systems? Yeah. Kevin in Chapel Hill, North Carolina writes to me and he says, "Hey Paul, my question is related to listening room treatments. I've seen your videos of the construction and refinement of your listening room 1, and wow, it sounds great." Indeed it does. But what can I do to affordably improve my listening room and have a high wife acceptance factor with the end result? Thank you for answering my question, Kevin. Well, you are welcome, Kevin. I will give a try. The room is probably the single biggest issue we have to deal with in stereo. I put room number 1, setup number 2, speakers number 3, and electronics behind that. So I think a lot of people downplay the importance of the room. And I've talked about this before. If you take a stereo system, you set it outside, it's going to sound empty and just like lackluster because they are designed and intended to be used inside. But once we get them inside, now we have the bass bunching up and causing all kinds of trouble. The reflections are going off the walls. We're getting delayed signals. I mean, it is the craziest double-edged sword. We can't live with the rooms and we can't live without them. We have to have them. So now what do you do about it? What could you do that is affordable? Well, I'll tell you 2 things. Number 1, if you want to have a happy marriage, happy wife, happy life, right? Use furniture as room treatment. So imagine a big empty room, right? If this room was completely empty, it would be echoey. And as we start adding stuff, rugs, couches, dressers, blah, 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 that breaks up the sound waves and makes it far more natural sounding. And because it's our reflective surfaces are getting covered, we're breaking up waves that go through. So the best thing you can do is to start with that, and that'll make your wife happy. Let her go out and buy a whole bunch of furniture. But like, for instance, the kind of couch that you buy, if you have a very echoey room, get a couch that is overstuffed so that it can absorb some of those reflections and some of that bass. Find the point of first reflection. I talk about that in my book, The Audiophile's Guide, how to find the point of first reflection. At that point, you can put up something, a bookcase. Oh my gosh, bookcases are one of the more amazing things you can do. I had a listening room back in Avon, Colorado years ago when I was at Genesis, and I wanted it to look very much like a home. So at the points of first reflection, and in the corners, I built bookshelves. I built them myself. I mean, put them up. Then I went down to the secondhand store, and for 20 cents or so, I made a deal. I just said, I'm going to take all these books off your hand. And they were like, I think I paid maybe $100. And I got, I don't know how many books. A lot of books. 25 cents a piece. You can get a lot of books. And they're all different depths, and and they look great, and you can build bookshelves. So bookshelves, furniture, all that kind of stuff really goes a long way to keeping your wife happy, you happy, and your room sounding great. So that's the first step that I would do. Second step, right behind the room, set up. The single biggest thing that people get wrong, setup. How your speakers are set up, where they're placed, where your listening chair is placed, and that gets a little trickier, but you can do it. And here's the shameless plug. If you want to know how to set up your speakers and you want to know how to set up your system for best sound, something that I tell you right now, if you set up your system properly, it's like having a new system. And I teach you how to do that in my new book, The Audiophile's Guide, available on Amazon. And it has a CD or an essay CD that goes with it. And you can get that at psaudio.com. Just go to music and under products, go to music, and look for the Audiophiles reference disc. So the Audiophiles guide on Amazon, and then the Audiophiles reference disc. And between those two, you will have a system that you will not believe you could have ever accomplished because of setup. And again, I don't want to harp on this. This is clearly a shameless plug, but it is also the truth. The single biggest problem I find in every single home setup is setup. That I can walk into any room where a person has their hi-fi set up and within moments make it sound like a different system. How? By rearranging the way everything is set up. And there's a trick to it. There's a few tricks to it. There's quite a few tricks to it, but it's not hard. And you spend a weekend doing it, you will be as happy as a clam. So furniture, bookshelves to help for the room, the Audiophiles guide, and the Audiophiles reference disc, the guide available on Amazon, and the reference disc available on PS Audio. Okay, have a great day. Thanks for the question. I'll talk to you tomorrow.